Good evening, everyone. We'll get started in a couple of minutes. We're just going to wait just a few more minutes to see if anyone else joins. Thank you. Well, good evening again, everyone. Welcome to the public information meeting for project number 15-386, which involves the rehabilitation of bridge number 111A, also known as the P.T. Barnum Bridge in the city of Bridgeport. Next slide, please. Bridge number 111A is identified in this slide in red and carries I-95 northbound and southbound over Bridgeport Harbor, Route 130, Metro North Railroad, and local roads. My name is Tracy Bray, and I am the project manager from the Connecticut Department of Transportation Major Structures Unit. Tonight, I'll start off going over some housekeeping items and then introduce the project team. Then I will turn it over to the project engineer from Close, Jensen, and Miller, CJM for short, which is the consulting firm doing the design of the project for the technical portion of the presentation. At the conclusion of the technical presentation, we will open it up to a live question and answer session. For those joining tonight through Zoom, closed captioning or non-English translation options are available. To change the settings, find the Zoom toolbar at the bottom of the window and select the Show Captions icon, circle number 1 on the slide here. Then click Speaking Language and then select the language you would like from the list. We'd also like to remind everyone of your civil rights. Under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. A link to the Connecticut Department of Transportation's Office of Equity page, which has more information regarding your civil rights, is provided on this slide. There's also a QR code and a link on the slide to a voluntary survey where you can rate the timing, information provided, and accessibility of tonight's meeting. You can just take a photo of the code on the screen and it will take you to the survey. Your feedback is greatly appreciated as it will help us improve our approach for future meetings. Lastly, we'd like to note that a recording of this meeting will be available on YouTube after tonight. So the Connecticut Department of Transportation operates its programs and services without regard to race, color, and national origin in accordance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Any person who believes she or he has been aggrieved by any unlawful discriminatory practice under the Title VI may file a complaint with the Connecticut DOT. And there's more information on this slide as to contacts if you would like to file a complaint. This slide has the same information as the previous slide about Title VI rights and how to file a complaint. It is just translated into Spanish. So I'll pause now for a few seconds so that those who would like to can read the information on this slide. There are 3 ways in which you will be able to communicate with us tonight. 1, you could submit questions and comments via email at dotproject001-0386@ct.gov. You can also call 860-594-2020. When leaving a voicemail, please reference project number 15-386. And lastly, if you've joined us through Zoom, you can type your questions or comments into the Q&A box. This function is only available during tonight's meeting. You may enter your questions and comments at any time during the meeting. At the end of the presentation, the project team will read the questions and provide responses. In a few minutes, I will walk you through how to use this function. After the meeting, comments and questions can still be submitted via email or phone using the email address and phone number on this slide. The comment period will be open through June 18th, 2024. This contact information, as well as the meeting minutes and a link to the recording of tonight's meeting, will be available on the project webpage. The website URL is https://portal.ct.gov/dot Bridgeport 15-386. To use the Zoom Q&A function, select the Q&A tool at the bottom of the Zoom webinar window. It's 2 little word clouds. Once you click on that, the Q&A window will open as seen on the right. There should be a box in that window where you can type in your questions or comments and just click enter, and we'll be able to view it. Again, at the end of the technical portion of the presentation, we'll be responding to all comments and questions. If you're an audio participant, dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. For this project, the project team consists of folks from Connecticut DOT and the consultant engineering firm CJM. The CTDOT side of the team includes Bart Sweeney, Division Chief of Bridges, Bao Sheng, Principal Engineer of the Major Structures Unit, Sushil Dahal, Major Structures Project Engineer. We also have Sal Hussain and Ilona Kakula from District 3 Construction. And then there's myself, the project manager from the Major Structures Unit. From CJM, the team includes Tom Ryan, project manager, John Miller, project engineer, and Michael Giacovino, project engineer. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Michael Giacovino, who will go through the technical portion of the presentation.
Hey, Tracy, thanks. Again, I'm Mike Giacovino with CJM, and we are the designer for the project. Just to re-summarize the structure, Bridge 111A spans over Bridgeport Harbor, Route 130 or Stratford Ave, Metro North Railroad, local roads, and a high-speed ferry terminal that is nearing completion. The bridge is within the I-95 right-of-way and no property impacts are anticipated. However, a title search is expected to be performed in design. Here's an elevation view from down on the southwest bank of the harbor, right where the high-speed ferry terminal is being constructed. This provides a good view of the different elements of the bridge, including the steel girders, concrete piers, and fender system. The steel girders are painted blue near the top of the bridge. The concrete piers support the steel girders, and the fender system protects the bridge from the water. I'll go over some basic bridge nomenclature in a couple of slides. The purpose of this project is to maintain the bridge in a state of good repair, meet current load rating standards, and extend the life of the structure. Currently, Bridge 111A is in good shape, and this project is in place to maintain that. This diagram will help you to understand some of the language I may use today. From top to bottom, the part you drive on is known as the wearing surface, which can more simply be recognized as asphalt. Between the wearing surface and the concrete deck is what's called a waterproofing membrane. The waterproofing membrane helps to prevent water and road salts from corroding the concrete deck. The deck sits on top of the steel girders, which then rest upon the concrete piers and concrete abutments. Joints are separations in the steel girders, concrete deck, and wearing surface that allow the bridge to expand and contract with temperature changes. You will also hear me use the phrase MPT, which stands for Maintenance and Protection of Traffic, or more simply, traffic control. Given the good condition of the bridge, a plan consisting of mainly routine rehabilitation was identified. I'll just quickly run through the list. We will strengthen or repair any steel girders that require it. Along with that, we will paint any areas where we strengthen or repair the steel, as well as any areas that have advancing rust. We are going to remove the wearing surface on top of the deck, patch the concrete deck as required, reapply a waterproofing membrane, and repave. We call this strip patch membrane overlay, or SPMO. Along with this work, we will replace all the joints. Concrete repairs will be performed to the underside of the deck and to the substructure. The drainage system will be cleaned and repaired as needed. We will replace any loose or missing structural bolts and repair the fender system. We are expecting to be able to complete this work utilizing staged construction on Mainline 95 while maintaining 3 lanes of through traffic and 1 lane of ramp traffic open during peak hours. Temporary off-peak shoulder and lane closures will be performed while maintaining a minimum of 2 lanes of through traffic. This will be for tasks such as milling, paving, and joint replacement. As you can see in the top left cross-section of the bridge, there is plenty of room for traffic while construction is taking place. Coordination will also be required with Metro-North Railroad and the U.S. Coast Guard. For local traffic, there will likely be some single lane closures and/or alternating traffic while they work under the bridge. It is too early in the project to know the exact extent. However, one potential detour would be over where the South Frontage Road turns into Water Street, which is circled on the map in the top right. There may be some overhead work that can't be done with a single lane closure. In that case, traffic could be detoured up broader main streets onto State Street and back to Water Street. I'd like to highlight that if a detour such as this ends up being required, access to Total Mortgage Arena, Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater, and the Transit Garage would still be available, and the detour would be coordinated to not be in place during an event at the arena or amphitheater. The contractor may also be able to install work platforms that are suspended under the bridge at this location, which would drastically reduce or eliminate the need for any detour. We are expecting a fairly significant permitting effort for this project, including but not limited to Flood Management General, CT Deep LWRD COP, CT Deep Marker, USACE Section 408, and USCG temporary deviation permits. A hazardous and contaminated material screening is underway. The bridge is located in both a FEMA flood zone and an NDDB area. The project is not expected to result in a scope change that affects the air quality code. A search for other projects in the area turned up quite a few. However, the 4 noted here appear to have the most potential impacts. 15312 is construction of the high-speed ferry terminal that I previously mentioned, which is located under the structure on the west bank of the harbor. However, this will be complete before our project starts. 15339 is rehabilitation of Bridge 2475, also known as the Stratford Avenue Lift Bridge, which is just north of this bridge in the harbor. This project is in final design. 15385 is located to the east of 15339 on Stratford Ave and is rehabilitation of Bridge 3637. That project is also in final design. And with that, I'd like to kick it back to Tracy, who will go over the current schedule and costs associated with the project.
Thank you, Mike. So based on the current design schedule, we anticipate that construction will start in spring 2026 and be completed in fall 2026. Now, this is contingent upon getting all permit approvals, and also if for any reason we do need right away, getting those acquisitions in place. We're currently at a 30% design level or preliminary design. And at this point, the estimated construction cost is $16,085,000. And it is proposed to be paid for using 90% federal funds and 10% state funds. So this brings us to the conclusion of the technical portion of the presentation. We'd like to thank you all for taking the time to listen to the presentation tonight and listen to what we're proposing on this project. At this point, we'd like to open it up to questions and answers. Just as a reminder, there is a Q&A button that you should be able to find in the toolbar at the bottom of your Zoom window, and you can just type in questions there. And just as a reminder, we also have, we'll be checking the email, so you can send us an email at this point, or you can also call us and leave a voicemail. Just as a reminder, in case anybody's typing out a question this time, there's also an opportunity to send us questions by phone or email after tonight. The comment period again is open through June 18th, so please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you think of any comments or questions after the meeting. Well, if there are no questions or comments at this point, I think we'll wrap up the meeting. Thank you again for joining us tonight, and hope you have a wonderful evening.